Hey everybody, it's pal Drew and I am back with more comics from my spinner rack. If you like what you see, leave a comment below. If you have any answers to any questions I bring up, please do so. Real quick comment about Archie Adventures series. Prior to this issue, which is 1984, for like 2 years prior, I think Rich Buckler had been doing the Red Circle Comics line, which was this Shield and then the original Shield and the Mighty Crusaders with Flyman, etc., etc. That was a direct-only line of books, and Rich Buckler was pretty much the editor, and he oversaw things, and he inked a lot, he penciled a little of everything. I guess he worked out some kind of deal of packaging some of these stories. Maybe I'm wrong. So Blue Ribbon actually came out as the Archie Adventure series. Now this was in the newsstand, and I don't see Rich Buckler's name anywhere except on the cover. It seems to be, Robin Snyder, who for many years, the last couple decades of Steve Ditko's life, Robin was sort of his confidant. And you got author Joe Simon and Kirby. It's a reprint, coloring Barry Grossman. I don't know if he's original colors. Probably not, because back then they weren't worried about keeping true to the colors, because that wasn't an issue at the time. I mean, books for most part were on pulp paper, and you just knocked them out. It wasn't like today with Marvel Masterworks or other high-grade reprints. And Buckler did ink this cover. I find it really interesting. Because he kind of made it his own. It's like I could tell that's like a Kirby pose in general. Like that's those off-face criminals, or almost off-panel. But he like smoothed out a lot, made like the anatomy a little more accurate. So it's a real odd thing, it's whoever you are. It may be a love-hate thing. You may hate it, you may love it. I love this pose though. It's like, check out my pecs, man. Check out my torso, man. While I beat the shit out of these guys. So, this whole book turned out to be a reprint of Lancelot Strong, and I love it because the original is probably worth quite a bit. It didn't last long. I think it lasted 1 or 2 issues. But it's Simon and Kirby reprints from the late 50s / early 60s. That's interesting there. A gunshot just missing on these, like a dropout where the white goes through, but no holding lines. I kind of dig that. And there's a Kirby mobile. That's probably what it sounds like. I'm guessing. So there's Under the Gun. He is telling everybody about the book you were reading. Love that. Love that. Love that. And you know what's weird though? I don't think Simon's inking it, because Simon has a heavy hand. It's a good look. It's just heavier, but I can't figure out. I mean, that looks very Dick Ayerish. But some of it, like I don't know, because Dick Ayers, he could be very heavy-handed, but in a good way, like on the first 5 issues of the Hulk. A lot of monster stories. So I'm kind of perplexed. If anybody knows, please share with me, because like that's not a Dick Ayers face. And most of these aren't. They're a little more polished. So that's it for the Blue Ribbon. Now we go to Marvel Triple Action, which as an Avengers fan, it was my favorite reprint book, as I keep bonking into the camera. Super Daptoid Baby, one of the coolest made-for-comics villains. I don't know how they would translate them into the Marvel Cinematic Universe at all, because it's a kid's character. I mean, as a kid, I loved it, and I still love it in a nostalgic way. And if they brought him back today, I wouldn't want to see it, because they would take all the fun, coolness out of it and make him some kind of psycho who like kills an Avenger in his first issue, and there's a mystery and shit like that, and we find out he was sent by S.H.I.E.L.D. or some horse manure. So 1977, that dreaded 30 cents. I couldn't buy $4. I mean, I couldn't buy 4 books. I could only buy 3. So Goliath and the Wasp are getting pretty good headline there, because first it was Captain America, Hawkeye, Quicksilver, and the Scarlet Witch. So they were off on vacation, off on holiday, as they say. Nice cover, really muddied with the Vince Coletta inks. But I didn't care. I mean, I bought this book and I was tripping. I was like, I'd seen him in a Marvel double feature where he fought Capitan America. So you got Don Heck on the inside, and you got Vince Coletta. The reproduction is really bad, but you know, for reprints back then, you just reprinted them. They had to farm stuff out. These reprints pre-royalties, it was like printing money, and all you had to do is publish it, and maybe change the trade dress, and that's it. Maybe make the background black or something. So this is back in the era of like 18-page reprint issues instead of 20. Now that image of the Wasp, what's really amazing about that is, you'll see TNA shots of women that are supposed to be hot, like in, some of the early Image comics and stuff like that. But to me, fully clothed right there, she is sexy as hell because she has a certain walk. It's like there's a lot of ways that men and women sort of, just different. I don't know if it's a body feature type or something, but that's just real sleek the way Don Heck drew her. He was known for drawing great ladies, and they didn't have to be half naked. They didn't have to be in, that too. Until Goliath gets pissed off. And Hercules still with the team. Later on, they shaved Hercules' beard, which I kind of hated. Didn't last that long, though. Because then he just looked like any other guy. And there weren't bearded superheroes at the time. Avengers assemble! Woohoo! So it's like a public thing. And they formally invite Hercules. I do humbly accept thy gracious offer. Don't you move? A super adaptoid. But he hung around the old Avengers to pick up their powers. Super adaptoid. Now his wings. On his helmet anyway. And he could grow like Giant Man. Well, he could do it before he moved. That is a really nice shot there. Nice shading. Yeah. And the thing is, he has a little bit of Iron Man in him too, which he did not have. He used to have he used to have Hawkeye, Quicksilver, Captain America, and I don't know who else. But what happened is at the beginning of the issue, they had new and old Avengers show up. So Super Adaptoid just picked up on all those powers. Love that. Love a man Hawkeye. And so much fun. It's just great. Great stuff. Marvel had so many reprint series back then. Like for every major title, there was a reprint series. So, good stuff. Ain't gonna spoil it for you. Now, I have a question for you guys. I just bought this. It's got like a sticker on it. I may be able to get it off. I don't know because it's not a shiny cover, but at least there's no rips. I could maybe pull off. So, Bride of the Barbarian, and it says Warrior of Mars, and I'm like, oh, okay, John Carter. Au contraire, it is Gulliver Jones, Warrior of Mars. Now, I don't Google, everything. I don't Wikipedia everything because I like participating in the conversation with my viewers, and they can educate me on stuff. And I don't want to sound like a smart-ass know-it-all, too. And half of the stuff I'd forget anyway. But who wrote Gulliver Jones? I know who wrote John Carter. And was there ever like a legal battle between them with the Mars business? Or maybe they were on opposite sides of Mars? So it's George Alec Effinger. I don't know why that sounds like a pseudonym, like, Gray Morrow. Again with the Gray Morrow, 1972 issue. Oh, amazing. I have this massive spine roll, and I may take an X-Acto blade and trim it. I know some unscrupulous people will do that and then resell it as a being in better shape. But this is, I like spine. I could deal with spine roll, but this is a tad too much. Okay, cover. So we got the Gray Moto, and wow, his stuff is so different. I can't believe Marvel would actually hire him because he doesn't have anything remotely resembling the Marvel style. He did half an issue of Captain America, and it had a lot of Romita redraws. Or was that Alan Weiss? I can't remember. Either or. So, oh man. Like I said, there needs to be a book devoted to Gray Morrow. It needs to be refurbished. It needs to be, cleaned up. It's so hard to do with those halftones that he incorporates. So there you go, and we go into reprint of a monster story. This time I don't know. Okay, that's Don Heck. I wasn't sure if that was a Kirby splash. Sometimes he did that. And For Whom the Drum Beats. It's Ditko, unmistakably. Love it, love it, love it. This I picked up yesterday. When Teen Titans came back, I was not a DC guy. I say it all the time. 1977, but I liked the Teen Titans. I loved the look. I loved Speedy. I liked, Kid Flash. Wonder Girl was cool. I wasn't a Robin fan, but this book, with him incorporated in the team, I liked it. So, Aqualad also, and then Mal, who was the only African American on the team, but he didn't get a name. But in issue 45, or was it 44, he was wearing Simon and Kirby's Guardian garb, the blue and yellow, to fight Dr. Light or somebody like that. And I thought, why didn't he keep it? It was an exoskeleton that enhanced his strength. So, Irv Novick, very, very underrated guy, very overlooked guy, really, really sharp. And it's inks by Joe Gila. This was part of the brief DC explosion. They just put everything out there. And I was buying Teen Titans. Teen Titans. It's like PlayStation. But Mal was given this wacky horn, which it was Jericho's horn or something like that. He'd blow into it and something odd would show up, like a giant showed up in a previous issue. And Mal blew the horn, and all of a sudden a slingshot showed up. So he clobbered the guy with a slingshot. So, yeah, Irv is great. He did, I think, a bunch of Flash issues, too. And look at that, books on record. You can now see them on YouTube. Now they actually have people using the recordings and the flip through the pages for you on YouTube channels. Just if you're curious. See, there he goes. Doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Ah, there we go. Jam, baby. We're like ELO or something like that. Or Earth, Wind, and or Fire. That's great. Is that Guggenheim? Was the Guggenheim even made at the time? I didn't know. So, go tell it to the Titans. Don't bother me. Go tell it to the Titans. Okay. There. One thing I didn't like is in a couple later issues, they had the Joker's daughter, and her name was Harlequin, I think, at the time, and she was supposedly the daughter of Two-Face, actually, and I didn't like that at all. That was kind of dopey. But now we're getting to one of my top 5 characters of all time, Daredevil. Look at that bold blue in the back. Such a colorful issue. Gil Kane splash, and I suspect it was inked by Joe Sinnott. It has a real smooth line to it. I mean, Kane could too, but it was just a different. Hold on a second. It was poorly focused, is what it is. Fighting man, as you've ever seen him. And what's good is, Marv Wolfman was writing it at the time, and he just did this like half-year-long Jester storyline, so he decided to do a standalone issue, which is by Sal Buscema as guest artist and Jim Mooney as embellisher. Normally, Bob Brown was the artist. In fact, a couple issues before this, John Buscema stepped in. So, boy, that's beautiful. What a great combo there. I love that. A lot of words here, a lot of words, but a lot of stuff happens. You know, this woman shows up at a hospital. Her son is missing. If he falls and scrapes himself, he'll bleed to death because he's a hemophiliac, a bleeder. That's when you actually, if you have a cut, you bleed and bleed and bleed. Now, I didn't know this until my dad's final years, that my dad was a hemophiliac. I had no idea. I guess it wasn't one of the things that came up, but yeah, I was very, I didn't know that, and he was very fortunate. So, and he's also chasing a drug dealer. He's got like a lot of responsibilities in this issue. And there's a gal who needs a fix. I like how it's like the mid-70s, guys. Hoods are still wearing these brim hats like from 20 years prior. But that's so the kid falls, starts bleeding, and it builds the drama. I do like it a lot. The only thing that's kind of funny is I've said this many times. I love Marv Wolfman's plotting, but at times I don't like his scripting. You know, because like with Daredevil, he's a badass, but I don't know. It's like for some reason it doesn't come across that well in the script. And that's just me. Maybe I'm being hard on the guy. So look at that. Look at that fall. I mean, that pose is great. It's a moment in time where he's actually letting go, and he fell, he couldn't hold it. Dee Dee saved him. This gal goes to Steel for her fix. Shoots her. It's Karen Page. Not really. So she tells a story, about her addiction. These guys go to stop Daredevil, and he's saying, please, don't bother me trying to stop me. So, really, Mooney's inks really shine here. Really look nice. Because Sal, if he isn't inking himself, and if it is a Joe Sinnott, well, actually, no, aside from inking himself, he's very subject to how good the inker is. And guy's closing up a pawn shop. She clocks him, takes the gun, sees the kid bleeding. She ends up shooting the dealer. It's a big old mess. Wait. I don't want to hear about anything until I've taken this stuff. Here's your money, so don't spend it in one place. Guy shoots at him. He goes, hold it there. I was just trying to get your attention. You're so wrapped up in your thoughts. You didn't hear me call for you. Well, you got my attention for about 30 seconds. Make it good. Sure, Dee Dee. We found the girl and the kid. They were spotted a few minutes ago near Bank Street. Is that all? Boom. Next time, yell louder. That's a great moment. And look at him swing up there like he's king of the world. I tell you, Martha, J. Jonah Jameson's right. Those superheroes are nuisances to see. They ought to be run out on a rail. You better believe it, Henry. That sounds more Michael Jackson than an older woman. They're only interested in themselves. What did they ever do for us? That's a great Marvel ending. So, Daredevil breaks loose. Break loose. Talk to you later, everybody.